Hi, and welcome back to U.S. History with me, Mr. Snyder, and today we're going to discuss new ways of life and new cultural trends and changes in the late 1800s due to this industrialization and urbanization of America. So we'll talk about the new technology, new types of stores and marketing, new mass culture and educational changes, and popular cultural movements in the late 1800s. So first off, we've entered a new era of consumerism because there are many people and businesses that will make lots of products that people will buy. And so we've got that going on, but then we've also got this horrible era of tenement housing and just people as poor as they can be with no one to help them. So Mark Twain actually terms this as the Gilded Age. And something that is gilded is something covered in gold to make it look better. So America has a rotten core at this point covered with gold paint, and we call this era the Gilded Age. American businesses during this time make products that make life more easy and fun. Mass production reduces the cost of goods, which means more people can afford them, and more people than ever are working for wages rather than selling crops. And so all of this leads to a new era of conspicuous consumerism, which means that people have more money to buy more of the products that they want to buy, not just what they need to buy. And everyone except the very poorest of the poor increases their standard of living. So new ways of shopping during this time, we come out with the department store. The first department store is Macy's in New York City in 1858. Others copy Roland Macy's widespread advertising, goods that are organized into departments, and high-quality items at fair prices. We get Marsh's in Boston, Marshall Field's in Chicago, and Wanamaker's in Philadelphia. A lot of these have gone by the wayside, but Macy's is still around. Advertising takes hold. People start to use newspaper ads, pay money to have them come in to buy their products. Also, money-back guarantees if you don't like the product, and free delivery to rural areas, which leads to a boom in mail delivery. And people increase their standard of living here because they measure their success because of what they can buy. And the late 1800s is often known as the Victorian era, after Queen Victoria of England. And it's an era where the rich are getting richer, and the middle class likes to imitate what the rich do. They imitate the rich with their clothing, they buy prepackaged food, which was a luxury item, and indoor plumbing is even starting to become widespread. Many women, unfortunately, though, have to work outside the home to achieve this lifestyle, and men change the way they work. A lot of them become commuters, and they work in the city, which means they leave early to go from the suburbs into the city and then arrive late at home. A mass culture comes out during this time. Mass culture means that the household appliances, toys, food, and media, or like newspapers and music that people are consuming, are the same from house to house for the first time in history. We don't have any more regional differences. With our new technology and shipping speeds, we can now have a mass culture where everybody is consuming the same thing. Newspapers are a large part of this, with Joseph Pulitzer's his World and his Evening World, and William Randolph Hearst's Morning Journal. These newspapers, their goal is to inform people, but also to stir up controversy in order to gain more readership. Horatio Alger is a popular author of the time. So is Mark Twain, because he disapproves of this Gilded Age. And Tin Pan Alley is a place in New York where music publishers publish sheet music that Americans can then take home and play on the piano and enjoy themselves. Education during this time also expands. Part of the reason that newspapers' readership go up is because more people are literate. And so grade school education becomes mandatory in most states. They offer public high schools, although not a lot of people attend yet until maybe the end of the century, is when we start really seeing kids start to go to school. Otherwise, they go to work. And the curriculum in those schools includes skills courses, civics courses, and business training. And city leaders look at the one of the goals of schools as changing immigrants into good citizens. And then finally, we get to the entertainment part of this. We start putting up amusement parks all over the place. Places where people can go to hang out and have fun for the day. Coney Island is a very early one in New York. That was an amusement park, a horse racing track, and a hotel, and it's still there today. One that you may be familiar with, being from the Midwest, is Cedar Point. Opens in 1870 in Sandusky, Ohio, and it's still there today. And it has one of the first roller coasters ever built in 1884 called the Switchback Railway, which is just a straight line of coaster on a wooden frame, goes about 10 miles an hour. They also had a log ride. The first ride was a log ride that kind of shot you down a hill into Lake Erie there. And then people also go to outdoor events like Buffalo Bill Cody's Wild West show, which featured Annie Oakley as the girl cowboy. They tour America and they tour all over the world. They even came to Fort Wayne, and they shaped the world's love of the American cowboy. And the Chautauqua Circuit also begins during this time, and it's supposed to be entertainment for Methodists on New York's Chautauqua Lake. But they expand and they take their tents all over the place, and they have lectures, music, exotic food, and special attractions. What did they do for entertainment in the cities? Well, they went to vaudeville shows, and people build theaters like this one on the right, just to have short little shows, medleys of musical songs, comedies, animal tricks. So that's sort of a vaudeville show, and it's supposed to be family friendly. Nickelodeons were early movie theaters that charged nickels for admission. You could kind of look into one. They had personal ones, or they had one that you could go into, like a movie theater we know today, to see a short film for a nickel. Music halls showcase ragtime bands that later this music evolves into jazz in the 1920s. City exhibitions also are like fairs that the city would hold that showcases new machines and gadgets. And spectator sports like baseball become very popular, and we build these labyrinths dedicated to baseball and sports in the city. The National League organizes in 1876, and Fenway Park is the oldest park still in existence in 1912. That was built at Wrigley Field in Chicago, shortly behind them, built in 1914. Some other sports that become popular are horse racing, boxing, and football during this time. And that's all I have for you today. Make sure you fill out those learning targets, and I will see you back in class. Bye-bye.